it's equally the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education. Give him another round of applause. I want to most respectively ask that the ACON president, architect, Sir Dipo Ajayi, to join them on the high table. Architect Ajayi. I want to equally call the vice president of ACON, architect Samsunel Ahmed. So kindly come to the high table, please. Thank you. I want to respectively call also to the high table our second vice president, very handsome man, tall man, very hardworking as well, architect Ben Ebo. Come to the high table. I need to call one of our own, the Iron Lady, the mother of NIA, our third vice president, amiable, adorable, architect Mobolaji Adeniyi. Give her a resounding round of applause. I need to call on the high table as well, the honorary general secretary, a very hard-working young man, architect Sani Saulawa. Let me recognize in our midst the presence of our past presidents who have served our great institute very well. They are architect Gabriel Aduku, CON, PPNIA. He was a former minister of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Equally in our midst is the past president, architect Umar Aliyu. He is a fellow of Nigerian Institute of Architects. Thank you very much. As we go on, I'll keep recognizing the dignitaries and our very senior and respected colleagues who will be in our midst. Without wasting our time, we need to take the national anthem. Please, can we all respectfully stand and honor our nation as we take the national anthem? At this point, have to invite our president, architect, Festus Adibenjoko, fellow Nigerian Institute of Architects, to give us his welcome address. Please, can we give him a round of applause as he comes?
The Honorable Minister of State, Prime Minister of Education, Honorable Mwajimeka Mwajuba, the President, Acting Resident Council of Nigeria, Architect Dipo Ajayi, the President-elect, Minister of Architects, Actor Sonny Echono, the first, second Vice President, Nigerian Institute of Architects, Actor Enyi Benebo, the third Vice President, Nurse of Architects, Dr. Mrs. Mobalaji Adeniyi, the headges of our great institute, Dr. Sani Salawa, Akon Vice President, Dr. Shamsuna Ahmed, our past presidents, both NIA and Akon. I think Architect Gabriel Aduk is here. Huh? All right. Architect Umar Aliyu in the 2019 Annual General Meeting and Conference of Great Institute. It's actually BGM because we hold elections. AGM, we don't hold elections, but we meet. This is holding in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. One cannot help but marvel at what human will can achieve if we set on a mission. The city we today know as Abuja was practically without modernity 40 years ago. While you sightsee around the beautiful Abuja, take your time to observe the morphology of a city on the move and on the rise. What we are trying to say here, you made this possible as architects. What we are looking at is the product of your intellectual capability that conjured this city to what we are now enjoying. Our deepest appreciation goes to our guests of honor who have found space to accommodate this event in their very guests of honors in their very busy schedule and gracing this occasion. Honorable Minister, we welcome you again. The theme for this year's conference is 2030 and Nigerian architecture, goals, gaps, and gains. I'm certain that our plenaries will do justice to our team and that our chair of the National Organizing Committee and our able incoming president as the STH honor will present us with an outline to this shortly. I would therefore like to encourage everyone to participate fully in the discussions and debates for an all-enriching experience. Let us deliberate and network together as we review the state of our nation's 2030 SDG agenda implementations with specific emphasis on architecture. In closing, I would like to thank our sponsors, partners, and partners. The Institute is indebted to your kindness. I wish all our members and other participants a successful conference and hope we discover new opportunities to better our laws, both as professionals here in our society and as we sell our trade to the world. Thank you very much for your attention. God bless you.
I don't think you've done justice to the lovely address, our president. Give him a more resounding applause. Thank you. I will at this juncture invite the first vice president, our incoming president-elect. He is also the chairman of the National Organizing Committee for BGM 2019. He's done a very good work. And for those of us who were there yesterday at the first event we had for the College of Fellows and the investiture for the new fellows as well, it was a resounding event. He's done a good job with his team, and we wish him a very successful tenure. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the podium our own very dear President-elect, Architect Sonny T. Echeno, FNIA.
The President of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, the President of the Architects Registration Council of Nigeria, past presidents of the Nigerian Institute of Architects here present, members of Council of the NIA, members of Council of Archon, fellows of the Institute, our dearly distinguished members and their spouses here in attendance, all other classes of membership, associates, graduates, and students, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to inform my distinguished colleagues that it is indeed an esteemed honor to once again welcome you all to Abuja, our National Center of Unity, for the 59th edition of our annual general meetings, BGM 2019. As noted by Mr. President, the theme of this year's conference is 2030 and Nigerian architecture, the goals, the gaps, and gains, with sub-themes including architecture as a tool for achieving 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, Thank you for the quick turnaround, a sharp reminder that as architects, we need to be part of the solution for sustainable power in this country. Some of the sub-themes include appropriate education, and that's why the Minister of State Education is here, training and research agenda for 2030, translating the Baku Declaration to action plans, amongst others. Permit me to give a very brief exposition on the theme. It will be recalled that the United Nations in 2012 adopted the Sustainable Development Goals Agenda, a global commitment to eradicate poverty and achieve sustainable development by the year 2030 worldwide. The underlying theme of that too is that we are going to leave no one behind. The adoption of the 2030 Agenda was a landmark achievement providing for a shared global vision towards sustainable development for all. 7 years on, how far has our nation gone in achieving the targets set out in that declaration? Our discourse at this conference is to essentially X-ray the performance of the SDG agenda in Nigeria with emphasis on the role architecture has played and is playing in specific terms. 2019 is a midterm for the agenda, and it is essential that the performance of critical components of the agenda are examined by relevant stakeholders across board. Indeed, many nations have pulled hundreds of millions out of poverty through well-marshaled implementation of the 2030 SDG agenda. Our own president has set a target of pulling out 100 million Nigerians out of poverty over the next decade. And again, as architects, as those who shape the environment, as those who articulate our national development agenda, we need to advise the present administration on how best to achieve that lofty goal. It is worth noting that the performance of nations in the implementation of the 2030 SD agenda is also going to be peer-reviewed. And indeed, Nigeria was selected as the first country to benefit from this peer review under the UNESCO framework. And I was pleased to be in a position to make the Nigerian statement and commitment to that UN body only a week ago in Paris. This year we will, as has become the tradition, be having 2 master classes. The first will focus on hotel development, planning and design, while the second will be a session on the edge discovery software for green building efficiency and optimization. And I believe we will all agree that these 2 are very topical for us. I believe we are bringing people from the Marriott's chain, one of the global chains in the hotel and hospitality business, to talk to us. And we'll also be able to enrich and share ideas with them on hotel design and the hospitality industry, which we believe will be one of the key growth centers in the coming years. And of course, we have commenced the issue of addressing sustainability, energy efficiency in buildings, green buildings, and optimization of what we have locally. We believe that we will continue this dialogue, and at the end of the day, we should be at the cutting edge, in the forefront of those leading efforts in saving the planet. So overall, we will keep striving to ensure that our annual conferences become a reference for targeted knowledge acquisition and professional exchanges. I therefore encourage all our delegates to participate actively in the plenaries as well as the masterclass sessions over the next 2 days. We look forward to an interesting time together. We are indeed grateful to every member of the organizing committee, and as Mr. President said, we also owe a debt of gratitude to our sponsors and partners, and of course, the Executive Council for their unrelenting support towards all the necessary preparations. This is therefore wishing every one of us a very fruitful, enjoyable, and successful conference. I thank you all, and God bless you.
As architects, we need to be a part of sustainable power in Nigeria. Architect S.T. Echeno, Thursday, 28 November 2019. Please can we clap for Architect Echeno? He has told us that the architect is needed in all aspects that affect our society, our profession, and the nation at large. We now call on our special guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Minister of State Education, Honorable Chukwu Emeka Nwajoba, to come deliver his keynote address. Can we give him a resounding round of applause?
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. President of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, Architect Adigwe Njoku, and the President-elect, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education, Architect Sonny Echono, and all the big architects and big men that are here. I think this protocol is plenty. But a special protocol to my Oga at the top. That's the husband of the Minister of Finance, Planning, Budgeting, Money, all the other one. Architect Shamsuna Ahmed. First, before I go into this address, I just want to make a few remarks. Truth be told, architects shape a lot of things. One of the boys who stayed in school with me agreed to stay in the Faculty of Law because it was very nice, close to School of Environmental Studies where architects were practicing. And one of the most beautiful girls in our school at that time is here today, architect, should I call her? Architect Amugo Ugoji knows that is his nephew. And niece, Ngozi Ugoji, she's there. She caused a lot of boys to stay in school, so she shaped a lot of things. I also know that my children like us discussing whenever there's an architect, our brother architect Uche, whenever he issues or talks or brings someone in church, you know that an architect is speaking because his manner is ordered. And you can see that I have been shaped into coming here today by the permanent secretary who ordered that I come here. One of the people who guided my first steps in the National Assembly when I was made the chairman of the House Committee on Works and Housing, is a gentleman people may mistake to be from Imo State, but he's actually Architect Umar. He was in the Minister of Works and Housing in 1999 when I first came to the National Assembly. Thank you, Architect Umar. So please, when you listen to me, just know that I'm being careful with architects. When I received the invitation of the Nigerian Institute of Architects to deliver the keynote speech at this year's annual general meeting and conference tagged 2030 and Nigerian Architecture, Goals, Gaps, and Gains, it reinforced my belief that architects are fully cognizant of the huge role they play in ensuring the success of the SDG goals of which Nigeria is a signatory to. There are 16 of them, and a careful examination of the goals will show that virtually all the goals require substantial inputs of architects in healthcare, education, affordable and clean energy, workplaces, industries, sustainable cities, climate action, life below and upon land, strong justice institutions, etc. All of them require the input of architects. Abraham Maslow in 1943, through his hierarchy of human needs theory, identified shelter as the second most important of human needs, second only to food and water. In September 2015, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And one of the principal targets of goal number 11 clearly is member nations are by 2030 to ensure access for all to adequate, safe, and affordable housing. It therefore goes without saying that safe buildings are an essential imperative that is sacrosanct. With the foregoing, the role of the architect in the realization of the SDG goals cannot be overemphasized. Be they in public service through our regulatory and development control institutions, stroke agencies, to the private sector through practicing professionals and firms, as well as civil society organizations, of which the Nigerian Institute of Architects is one. The professionals in public service oversee policy and regulatory framework in formulation, implementation, and enforcement. This group includes those in the material test engineering, enforcement officers at the Standards Organization of Nigeria, those in the development control agencies, as well as academicians and research scholars at our various tertiary and research institutes. The professionals in the private sector include architects, structural, mechanical, and electrical engineers, town planners, quantity surveyors, building contractors, among others, who play a key role in conceiving and actualizing architectural masterpieces all over our nation. The architect designs the buildings and ensures that his work and those of other professionals do not only meet the client's brief, but more importantly, conforms to architectural material specifications, statutory design, and building codes, while ensuring the overall solution is economically safe, functionally and aesthetically pleasing, It is about teamwork. From the standards certifying and approving institutions to the regulatory bodies to the professionals and firms, and finally the professional bodies, it is about collaboration in a seamless and rancor-free environment for the sake of Nigerians who daily put their trust in these institutions. Members of this big team must be professionals about their set goals. There is no shortcut and there is no corner cutting. To do otherwise is a recipe for what has become the norm rather than the exception. We need to therefore go back to the first principles: excellence. Excellence in design, excellence as a guide in our certification and choice of materials, excellence in our training and education, both for our professionals and artisans. Trade training, testing should be strengthened. Excellence in our oversight and supervisory functions, either as building inspection officers or as consultants on any project. Excellence in our research institutions to enable domestication and appropriate transfer of technology for the good of our construction industry. Excellence in our intra and interdisciplinary relationships within the various professions and industry. This is paramount and we cannot do without it. Excellence in advocacy as a civil social responsibility, both individually and as professional bodies. The federal government is ready to partner with all well-meaning Nigerians and civil society organizations like the Nigerian Institute of Architects in not only peer reviewing the status of our implementation of the SDG goals, but to seek partnerships where necessary to strengthen the framework for successful achievement of these set targets. I want to thank you once again for the opportunity to address this assembly, and I wish you all a fruitful deliberation. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless the Nigerian Institute of Architects, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Architects shape a lot of things. Architects' manner is ordered. Architects have shaped me. Architects are handsome, they're beautiful, they're intelligent. Quotable quotes from no other person than our own handsome Honorable Minister of State, Honorable Nwameka Nwajoba. I want to tell the Honorable Minister that flesh and blood did not reveal all these qualities of the architect. You got it from the Spirit. These are the qualities and many more of the men and women you have seen here today. Please, can we give ourselves a round of applause? I love architects. I love Nigerian Institute of Architects. At this juncture, can we all stand after the people on the high table, our guests, as we all go and declare this conference open by declaring the exhibition stands. This will be led by no other person than our special guests of honor. As they march out, we will orderly follow them and come back to the hall and have our closing ceremony. Thank you. God bless you. Sorry, for this section, that's what I mean. Thank you.